大家好, Oi, gente. Hi, Earthlings and aliens. Welcome to the third episode of my aliens vlog. Today, thanks to some kind Earthlings, I was able to brush up on my manual car driving skill in apparently a modern classic car that a lot of Earthlings like. I'm back. This is the coolest thing ever. The mirror is like going places. Now I'm gonna back slowly. Uh, Now it's my Fast and Furious moment in Gear 1. Do you hear that gas? So, aside from making the above comments, I thought a lot about why do people like to drive. I mean, I can kind of understand driving as a hobby, like any other activities that Earthlings like to do. Some people just like to drive. That's fine. What I don't understand is why do people upgrade manual driving into automatic driving and now even self-drive cars? If people really like to drive, is it really that much harder to press a few more pedals since it's an activity or things like to do anyways? But if you say, oh, I like driving because it provides me comfort, freedom, and convenience, then I say, why don't you just go take a train? I cannot think of anything more convenient and freeing and comforting than a train because someone else is driving for you and you literally could do anything you want on the train from reading to writing to typing while the train is taking you from a place to another. But if you say, oh, well, public transportation is not accessible to where I want to go, where I want to live, then I say, then that's the choice you make. Why don't you live closer to public transportation? If you choose to live far away from public transportation, driving becomes a privilege, not a necessity. So then I started thinking about um, are we really in an energy crisis in terms of our current gasoline consumption cannot power the amount of cars we're driving. We need to all switch to electric drive or alternative fuels. Um, I feel like I am always amazed by humanity's amazing adaptability. I wonder if really when the time comes, people would just take up more public transportation, move to places closer to public transportation, and start using more bikes and start going to places walking and live and work and go to places closer to where their bikes and their foot can take them and start planning cities and communities in terms of like close to each other. Yeah, and find everything they want to do within the community they live. And apparently this is very good urban planning strategy anyways. So yeah, am I worried about energy crises? I don't know. But I do know humanity's adaptability is amazing and um, people are not that afraid to change when they really need to do it and they change fast. So I guess the question for me, for everyone today is why do people like to follow what others do? I'll give an example. Since we're talking about cars, I can still remember not that long ago, maybe 15 years ago, a lot of developing countries still had bike lanes because cars were not even that popular. Um, but I also use China as an example. In the last 15 years, bike lanes used to be very divided, very protected with trees and other objects away from the auto roads. However, as cars become more and more popular, the bike lanes were taken down. Um, but as cars become more and more polluting, The bike lanes came back. Now the cities are promoting using bikes again. So I wonder if people had just did what um, they did, kept on the bikes and didn't follow what developed countries were doing, would China have been better? Let me know what you think and have a good night.